What it do, y'all? It's your girl Makeup and Travel, and for today's video your girl is here to bring you another video of my must-have must-gag series. This is my series I created inspired by Samantha March's Will I Buy It series. I always have her series and the community playlist linked down below, as well as all of the Instagram pages that I use to get all this makeup news. And lastly, I always have everything listed and linked below that I discuss in these videos. Just to let you guys know, I'm recording this Friday at about 2 p.m. so it's rather early, so there may be quite a few releases that get shown or sneak peeked that I will not be talking about. If you're wondering, did I record this makeup look? I did not. I just kind of wanted to sit down and just have some fun with this Midas Cosmetics Artistry 2 palette. After playing it with it today, I don't think I'm going to do a 3 look swim palette, but I will be reviewing this in a palette roundup very similar to the last palette roundup that I did. So do just kind of keep an eye out for that. But yeah, other than that, I'm just gonna scoot over really quickly, make sure I have all of the latest things pinned in my Instagram folder, and then we will get into it. Alrighty, so the first thing I want to talk about is Tanuka is coming out with yet another palette. I think this is the last time I'm going to talk about this brand. I still have yet to get my palette. I reached out to them again trying to figure out tracking wise what's going on with my palette, because even their tracking is in Russian. And so at this point, I'm just over it. I did order that product through PayPal, so I might try and get my money back, because clearly wherever that package is, it's either lost or they never sent it. I don't really know, but I'm over it at this point. I'm just probably never going to try this brand, which is perfectly fine. There are plenty other brands out there to try. Rose Cosmetics Spring has come out with a Magic Nation collection, and they look to have single shadows. It's a mix of mattes, shimmers, and chunky glitters. These look reminiscent of ColourPop's Super Shock shadows. I am not a huge fan of them in the sense that I don't want to take out a whole single shadow just to do a look. You know what I mean? Like, I rather just have a collection of single shadows that I can put in a palette or something like that. So for me, I'm gonna pass, but I may say some of these colors are actually really pretty, and I really like the color scheme, and you see on that swatch of the arm. So Nomad Cosmetics has officially revealed and released their latest palette, and this is the Shanghai Yin Yang Intense Eyeshadow Palette. And for me, it's a couple of things going on to this palette, right? Because of whatever reason, I still haven't gotten the last palette that they released prior to this. The, what was the name of that one? The Iceland palette, right? That one's now on its way. I believe it's going to come to me Tuesday of this week, the day that you guys are seeing this. So I still have yet to get that palette and like play around with that palette. I had just recently, literally yesterday, I believe, I got the Caladios palette collaboration with Jessica. So I want to play around with that palette. So I don't want to keep buying, right? So one thing I am happy about, at least last year, is I felt like I was able to really see, you know, it's okay to buy a palette here and there, but buying too many palettes and really not taking the time to use those palettes, and then of course use other things that you already have in your collection, it gets tiring, and I feel tired. I feel tired. So although this seems intriguing and I've seen nothing but great reviews about it, I'm just tired. In addition, right, the matte side, all of those mattes look light. They look light, and although I did, oh my gosh, what's going on behind? Now that being said, I did go ahead and pick up the Orient Express palette from Nomad Cosmetics, even though a lot of the product details and swatches and all that looked light. Picked it up, and I still was able to get really nice looks out of it, and I'm sure I can still get really nice looks out of this too, but a lot of those mattes just look light, y'all. They look light. I'm not going to be able to get the same crease work that somebody of a lighter complexion is going to get. You guys know I love Nomad Cosmetics. I have at least 6 of their palettes, and I still continue to pick them up, even if instances like this where I just still think that some of the mattes are light, but I just can't do it right now. I don't want to bring in another palette, one, and I don't. I'm tired. Oh my God. I just feel tired, right? Like I feel like I'm competing against bigger YouTubers who get this stuff in PR. They already have their videos up, and by the time I get the product, I test it out, I put the video up, it's pointless. And even if I do get these videos up before these bigger YouTubers, it's still pointless because my videos still don't get seen. So I don't know. I don't really know. All I know is right now for me, as much as I love Nomad Cosmetics, and I think this palette is actually pretty, there's just a little bit too many light mattes for me to pull that plug right now. I'm just gonna pass for right now. That's not saying that I'm not gonna get it, but just for right now, I can't bring myself to pick this up. I really can't. Menagerie Cosmetics, their pre-order for their latest palette, which is the Flight Club palette, will be available on the 26th of February at 12 p.m. PST. It has 2 metallics, 2 chameleon metallics, 1 chameleon, and 7 beautiful mattes. If I can remember correctly, their chameleons are like their duochromes, etc., etc. I think that I like the different textures that they're saying is going to be in this palette, but this palette is just not doing it for me. It really isn't. Once again, I just want depth in my palettes. I want to be able to do a variety of different looks, and for me, I just don't think I can do that, and I also don't think that picking up this palette is going to bring anything new to my collection. At this point, I need things that are going to be new to my collection, or I'm trying out a new brand and just learning more about that brand. So for me personally, I think right now, once again, I'm going to pass. We still have plenty of time. February 26th, by then, things may be different. I also have a lot of different bills coming in right now, and I just don't have the extra money to be buying makeup like that. So maybe, you know, around February 26th, I will change my mind and I'll pull the plug, or I'll have some FOMO or something like that. But as of right now, currently, I don't intend to pick up this palette. It is, like I said, a beautiful palette. You get a mix of pinks and purples, and you get a variety of different purples. But since they discontinued their other purple palette, you would think that they would give some really, really deep purples so that people can really deepen out their looks, whereas these purples don't look very deep. So that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to that. Vive, they've come out with blushes, and for me right now, I just think that I have a lot of blush, right? I love blush. I love different textures of blush. I really love a nice satiny shimmery blush. But one, I've never tried the brand. I've never purchased from Cult Beauty, and I'm just good. These are colors I know I have in my collection, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna use what I have and be happy with what I have. Playing in Makeup by Yolando, they've created their highlighter palette where they are collaborating with the brand owner, and it's 4 different highlighters. For me, I just don't need any more highlighter palettes. I do get a lot of use out of my face palettes in general, but I don't need it. Colored Raine has sneak peeked that once again they're coming out with their bronzers, and I think they're also extending their highlighter range. I think that's all good and dandy, but I'm really checking for these bronzers. Like, the bronzers I thought were supposed to release Monday, this past Monday, and they didn't. So I'm a little confused on that, but you know, things may be happening. I just really am excited to try their bronzers. That being said, Playing in Makeup by Yolando did just recently do a sale. It was 40% off, so I did scoop up their bronzer palette, just to let you guys know. Okay, Makeup Maniacs, they've come out with a new palette, and it is the Green Goddess 3 palette. For me, this is very reminiscent to some other green palettes that I have with splashes of neutrals. So for me, I don't need it, and honestly, if I really wanted to be that person, I could say that this is a very smaller version of that color scheme. So I genuinely just don't need this, let alone I've never tried the brand, so I don't feel a pull to get more products from them because of their formulation. Melt Cosmetics is coming out with some mini products, mini lipsticks and mini eyeshadows. For me, right, like, I just don't like minis. I've told you guys that time and time again, and I still have never changed. Like, I do not like mini products when it comes to these types of items. So for me, it's gonna pass, let alone the eyeshadows look single. So you have to open up a single compact to get into the eyeshadow. I don't have time, I don't. So these are all, this whole collection for me is going to be a pass. Necromancy Cosmetics is coming out with a new collection, and it's called the Gothic Romance. I believe it's coming out for like Valentine's Day, but the day that I'm recording this, I don't see anything. Oh, Valentine's Day is soon. Today's Friday. Oh, Valentine's Day is today. Well, happy Valentine's Day to you guys if you celebrate it. I never do, but you know, kudos to you. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I haven't seen any updates on their Instagram, but who knows? Maybe it's not for Valentine's Day. I don't really know. Some brands do their Valentine's Day collections and they launch it on Valentine's Day, which is also very confusing for me, but I'll sit back on that. Alrighty, so Beauty Creations is also coming out with a new collection for Valentine's Day. It's called the Vintage Romance, and it's actually quite interesting. The packaging looks like it's like a postcard that's been stamped and stuff, and then the inside, I like the color scheme, I like the diversity in shades, the depth that is provided. I like it. The eyeshadow palette is $12. The blush duo is $6. There's some other things. That blush duo I know is not going to be dark enough for me. The eyeshadow palette actually looks nice, but I know I have quite a few pink singles, and I have now, let me get it. I have now the Pinks palette from Juvia's Place. I know this is going to work on my complexion. I still haven't tried it yet, but I know it will work on my complexion. So like, I know I don't need another pink palette. Kosas has also released their new baked setting and smoothing powder. I think that this is interesting. I know quite a few YouTubers that I follow will be picking this up, so I'll be very excited. You guys know I really enjoyed their bronzer. It was very reminiscent to the ColourPop Bits and Pieces bronzer for me, just slightly less warm toned or less redder or orange toned, whatever you want to call it. So I really enjoyed that powder, and I would be very interested to see what this powder presents. But for me, right, I have been shopping my declutter bin, and I found 2 or 3 more powders that I am going to work through, and I don't want to keep buying powders. So I'm not going to be picking this up, but I do look forward to seeing those people that I do follow and how they feel about this product. Dr. Griot Soul, which is a K-owned, Black-owned brand. I believe they are officially now a thing, and there are 6 different shades. It looks like what I'm being shown right here is their cushion foundation. It looks interesting. I mean, there's $34.99. I'm sure that a YouTuber that I follow that does Black owned luxury makeup or whatever will be talking about this at some point, so I'm gonna wait to hear their reviews. I don't need any more foundations, but it's nice to see that there's Black owned brands that are kind of in the K-beauty aesthetic, if that makes sense. Midas Cosmetics has talked about the fact that they are launching another palette, and it is called the Genesis palette. It's launching at the very end of February, and that's all we know right now. We also did finally see their Valentine's Day collection, where they have the liner palette, the 2 excuse me, the 2 lipsticks and the lip liners. The eyeliner palette, I must say, it actually looks interesting. I'm not gonna pick it up, but it looks interesting. I think these are definitely shades that, like, if you have another water activated palette, you would not necessarily have these products. And I'm sure there are plenty of people on this platform that have Midas Cosmetics affiliate codes, and they are also affiliates, so they'll be getting this in PR. So if you want to see it, I'm sure you can see it from them soon. More stuff from Violet Voss. They look like they're coming out with the Cherry collection, probably once again celebrating Valentine's Day. For me, I'm good. It just looks like the saturation level on this palette is turned extremely low, and I like very highly saturated products and colors, so I'm gonna pass. Let alone, like I said before, I have reds, I have pinks, I'm good. Jacklyn Hill Cosmetics is coming to Ulta. I think this is exciting for some, not exciting for others. I'm indifferent. Like I've told you guys multiple times, I've never tried the brand. I've had one palette that she collaborated with More Free with. I gave it to a friend because my friend really wanted it, and I was indifferent to it. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't really know. Cosmetics, they have come out with a new release, and it is their feminist eyeshadow palette, and there are some interesting things going on with this. So there's 6 ultra creamy vibrant mattes and 12 pressed pigment shimmers. I must say I actually like this color scheme. I actually think this is quite pretty. I've never heard of this brand at all. But like I said, I'm intrigued. I'm very much intrigued. They're a pretty big brand for me to have never heard about them, but you know, there's so many brands out there. Let me know if you guys are interested in seeing a video on this palette or hearing about this brand, because I am. Marcwille Cosmetics, they have 5 different palettes that they have collected and curated, and yeah, I think they're interesting. I've once again never heard of this brand, but I'm intrigued. For me personally, I don't feel a pull for any of these, but it does look like they're dark enough and they really take into consideration having depth. So we're good on that. Cosmetics LLC is also coming out with another kind of Valentine's Day themed palette or collection. There's some lip products. I would say these are, yeah, lip glosses. There's a highlighter, and then there's also a palette. The palette looks cute. Everything looks cute, but once again, it's just not something that I need. I went through a phase where I felt like I didn't have any pinks in my collection. I got a lot of pink singles, and once again, like I said, I have this pink eyeshadow palette as well as the palette that my best friend got me, so I'm good. I'm good. Adept Cosmetics is coming out with another palette very, very soon. In this palette, you are going to have 2 mattes. The mattes are nice and deep and sultry, and so are the metallics. The metallics all look to be very how do I call it? The metallics all look to be very deep and jewel toned. I think this is a very, very pretty collection and palette, and it's going to retail how much for $68, and the pre-order will be up soon. I don't know if the pre-order is up currently, but I might actually go ahead and pull the trigger on this. I've been kind of interested in the brand, and who knows, I might really like it. Playing in Makeup by Yolanda is also not only coming out with a moisturizer, but she's also sneak peeking that she's coming out with a primer. Like I said, a lot of makeup brands are really going to be coming out with skincare products just because they know that's something that people will consistently be purchasing, even through something like a pandemic like we're currently going through. For me, I'm good right now. I don't like to collect a lot of primers, but who knows? I may pick this up later on in life. Milani has come out with an eye and two cheek palettes, and they're both interesting. I will say, of course, for me, I would be more intrigued to pick up the darker one, of course, but also I just don't feel like I need this. I just don't. There's not enough eyeshadows for me to really get a consistent amount of at least 3 to 4 different looks. It's really good palette, I would think, for somebody who likes one palette that they can use every day non-stop until it's gone. But for me, clearly I'm not that type of person, so I am going to go ahead and pass on this. 2 more products I want to talk about. Buchonka Cosmetics has come out with a more Toxico eyeshadow palette. It's 21 shades. There's 7 glitters, 5 shimmers, and 9 mattes. Of course, you guys know I'm not going to be picking this up. There are glitters, but I just thought this was a very pretty color scheme, and that's why I wanted to talk to you guys about it. I just feel like had they taken out those glitters, maybe even condensed the color scheme just a little bit, I would have been on board to potentially pick this up. And then last, I wanted to talk about Nomad Cosmetics coming out with a mascara. It is very interesting packaging. It looks like a cat, and the name of it is Vicious. So yeah, I don't really know much about Nabla Cosmetics' mascaras. I haven't tried their mascaras, but you know, very interesting. And the wand is interesting as well. It looks like it's a plastic applicator, and I hate those, so I probably will not be picking this up. But yeah, very, very interesting indeed. For me, right, like I said, I just have a lot of bills coming in right now. I feel like I haven't been able to really test out and give certain products that I've already picked up the time and, you know, the space. So I'm good this week. I don't think I'm going to be picking up anything. And I feel like that's okay. That is okay. I would love to hear how you guys are feeling, if you guys are sticking to any no buys, if you guys are focusing on paying off debt like I am, or if you guys are just living your best life and buying everything under the sun. I would love to hear from you guys, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.